will be talking about old television culture, the people who watch it, the artifact, and why is it so important to me. According to an article in the late 1960s and 70s, the relevance of a movement posted in Britannica, television galvanized the country by preempting regular programming to provide essential coverage of significant events. The American people loved television and loved to be informed and transpired and also enjoyed live entertainment. According to the Britannica, although news coverage brought increasingly disturbing reports as the decade progressed, prime-time programming presented an early, different picture. Television in the 1960s became important because it was a shift in norms of operation that led to changes in the textual production and its role in culture. Television back then presented a generic comedy towards family that identified with white middle-class families. The shows also avoided racial discrimination and avoided any talk of the civil rights. Many American families wanted to settle down back then, have children, enjoy the peace and the security in their family that life appeared to show on TV. By the 1960s, most American households had a television. In that year, Nixon and Kennedy debate was the first televised presidential debate. Also in the 1960s, they had shows such as Batman, Gilligan's Island, and also Bewitched. These were the kind of TVs they had back then. This one's called the Magnox dog style. They had furniture television back then, so they could easily put away when they had guests over. They had a TV like this, and also a television like this. The Magnox was founded in 1911 by Peter L. Jensen and Edwin Purdam, but they didn't have a company until 1917. This company before television came to them, before they started creating television sets like these, such as these, they first were a radio company. But then around the 1940s, they wanted to progress, they wanted to expand, so they got together with a TV company to make TVs and also connected with radios. In the 1960s, it brought creative and bizarre televisions, such as the Kuba Komoot. It was made in Germany, in Western Germany, according to Matthew Wilson, a publisher on The Insider. This right here is the German Western TV, the Kuba Komoot. The TVs were fabric, brass, wood stains like mahogany. Majority of the old TVs in the early 1960s were radio mixed television devices made with neon tubes behind a mechanical spring disc with a spiral of apertures, and they produced red postage stamps. The cost of a television went up high since it started to produce more than just a radio signal and flickering images around the 1960s. They were made like furnitures. The screen was square and also was rectangle. They were more vintagely made, so it's more wooden, more progressed than our TVs of today when it's like flat screen, touch screen. I grew up watching TVs, so this was very important to me when doing this, because I remember back then in my household we did have a Magnox TV, which was this one right here. We had that television. It wasn't touch, it wasn't anything. It wasn't like the TVs of today where you could look up Netflix, Hulu, and it didn't work. We had our own TV, which was the early 2000s TV, and I forget what it's called. But yeah, it was interesting. We had that in our house for quite some time before removing it. But before removing it, I used to play with it. It would be in our bedroom. I used to just see if it would work. It never worked. But personally, to me, TV is very important. Over the years, it's something I relied on. During quarantine, I relied on it. Being stressed, I relied on watching TV. After work, I relied on watching TV. So I'd always wonder about how TV was back then for people in the like the mid 19s to